Hi friends, this is the Be Real Babe podcast, a place where your average Canadian wolfpack come together to talk about life stresses, messes, and successes. A safe space where being yourself is the ultimate goal. Each week we will bring you new episodes sharing our opinions on a ton of different topics in hopes we can get a better understanding of ourselves, each other, and this crazy world we live in. We want to build a community where we can show up as ourselves, be real, and lay it all out there. By sharing our opinions and experiences, we hope to reach others who can relate so we can all help each other learn, grow, and heal. But please keep in mind, as a disclaimer, none of us here are professionals. No one is giving any advice. We are strictly speaking of our life experiences, our opinions, and for entertainment purposes only. Now, with that being said, it's time. So grab your drink, grab your joint, and let's jump right in. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Be Real Babe podcast. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by the show today. We hope that you have a good time. And if you're a returning listener, watcher, supporter, thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts for coming back time and time again. For those that don't know me, my name is Brandy. I am the host of the show. And today, you guys, we're on episode 159, Holidaze, Winter Edition. So in this episode, we're going to obviously be talking about Christmas. We're going to be talking about Halloween. We kind of touch on the other holidays, but just kind of focusing on where did these holidays start? We just finished Halloween. We're just going into the Christmas season. We've had Thanksgiving. Then we're looking at New Year's. And we'll talk about the spring stuff in the spring. But where did Christmas come from? Where did Halloween come from? And y'all, as usual, we're looking into this stuff and we pull up such crazy, controversial, weird arguments about these holidays. So we will get into that in a moment. But before we do, I just want to remind you, if you are watching on YouTube, Rumble, or Spotify, you can like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. If you can, comment for engagement, help us break out of all the suppression that we're always facing. If you are listening on Spotify audio or Apple or Google Podcast, you can also turn on notifications and give us a little review if you have a second. And you can always find us, guys, on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at the Be Real Babe podcast. Please make sure you reach out. Let us know if you have a topic you want us to talk about. If you want to be on the show or you know someone that wants to be on the show, please hit us up. And again, guys, if you are enjoying the show, we absolutely love hearing your feedback. Things have been hard this season. It's been very busy. We've been very busy and things are all happening at once. So with the suppression and the potential regulation of podcasts, we've just been feeling a little bit of the pressures. So make sure if you do, and if you have already, thank you so much. Reach out and let us know that you have been enjoying the show, because it does help fuel us to keep going, because it is not easy, especially when you aren't making a dime. And this is all energy exchange, which is amazing, but it can be exhausting. So please let us know if you are enjoying the show, and I'm going to shut up and send you over to this episode because it was really great learning about the true meanings behind Halloween and Christmas. All right, babes, it's time to get on to the show, and with me today in studio is my beautiful co-host, Hills.
Hi.
No pets! Well, no,
Yeah,
we
we
do
got
have some.
Smokey here, but Lola is in puppy prison in her kennel upstairs. She's been kind of a terror the last few days. Does not quite
I
understand a
was
pee
thinking,
pad. She'll chew them and destroy them, but she will not actually use them. So, yeah.
isn't it funny too how they
Ugh.
say that? And I have no idea, but how every kid is different, and
Literally,
it's like kind of proving right now that every puppy is different
she
too,
is
right?
the
Like
tried and
you
true
said, it's
second
so
child.
different.
I do not remember Shorty being this fucking terrible and so much of a handful. Shorty, but then I remember when I said that to someone the other day, I thought it was you and the girls, but Shorty had her issues. She chewed on our bed frame and
Mm.
destroyed one of our comforters. She chewed a big hole in our blanket. So I forget that. But Lola
No.
like pees everywhere, shits in Evie's
Mm.
room, like does not
No.
understand the concept of her toys. Shorty was really quick to
Mm.
pick that up. So she's chewing on every wood item that Evie has,
All the
every
cat
wood
toys.
item in our house, anything she can get her little fucking mouth on. And it's like, listen
She's
to
into it.
me, you adorably cute terrorizer.
A little
What the
terror. Yeah.
fuck through your little brain? Like, don't do that. And all the teddy
Not
bears,
okay.
anything.
Oh no.
So she
Anything, nothing
keeps
safe.
me honest in my cleaning. I have to keep everything clean because she chews on everything and
Yes.
eats everything. It's just she's very much the second
There you
child of
go.
like the first child is the angel, and she is just like an
Mm.
absolute fucking nightmare. But I love her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And
she's a nightmare.
questions why. Yeah. And you see why they get like a
Ugh,
third. Like, keep this one busy then. No, just
right?
kidding.
Like poor Shorty.
I was just
She nips
waiting.
at Shorty's feet and like chews on her toes. So Shorty's walking around like this, like trying to keep her toes out of like her
Trying to get
way.
her.
And it's so I feel so bad for her. She's too
But it's
sweet to
good.
grump with her and
Like,
tell
that's not
piss off.
forever.
But yeah, she's just
She'll learn.
Kitty is her new
Just a little
playmate.
nut.
She loves Kitty, and I've never heard Kitty grumble and
And
growl so much in my life. But to be
just
fair,
like, thanks,
she can
mom.
hold her own, and she knows how to get up like on furniture and away from her. So it's her own fault. And then we
There's
got
no
this
excuse if she just sits there and takes it.
old man who is
He's
the
so
oldest of
cute.
our fur babies, and he's just a mama's boy. This one,
I love the tuck.
I know
I love when they tuck their
the
arms.
loaf.
It's my favorite.
He's
Yeah.
the best
Yeah.
loafer
Sophie does
ever.
this. Sophie does this a lot, and then she definitely like extends her like old hurt paw. Like she still thinks she's hurt, and she'll just look up at us, and we're like,
Love me, I'm sore.
she's like, yeah, you were injured like 6 months ago. Can we let that go
Lays
now?
it
No,
up.
you're still gonna try and milk
I love
that.
it.
It's so funny. Yeah, they've been very interesting. They've been handling the change okay, but you can tell that they like 100% miss him. Like they'll go sit at the door and just like stare out
Not their
there
routine
or
they're
like
used
go
to.
upstairs. Yeah, they're very, yeah, and because he was home for a little bit too, like all the time, they were just so upset. And when I talked to him on the phone, like Jackson will run around like trying to look
I
for
can
him.
see
Like
him.
I can hear him, but
Where
and
is he?
yeah, but I can't see him. Like just not understanding the concept. It's
It's funny.
kind of
People
funny
always
but
say
sad at the same time.
cats are so much different than dogs, which they are, but like cats do love their people. Like you don't really
Honestly,
notice that until people come over
no.
and like they run away and
Yes.
they're super antisocial. Like I don't fucking know who you are.
Yeah.
No. And like
Yeah.
Smokey
Yeah.
sleeps
Exactly. And then, but
literally
you, it's
around
so
my head
different.
on my pillow every fucking night. I'm constantly having to move
I
his
love
feet out of my way because like that, or I'll wake up with like cuts on my face because his like
on your
claws, or
face.
like wake up and like a claw is like dug into my skin. I'm like, ah, fuck, like get out of here, man. Like it is forever. Like they're
Just
very
keeping your head
particular, and
warm.
Smokey is a mama's boy. He has been since the day we got him.
Yes. Yes, that's like Benji's too. Benji just like is just my cuddle
Yeah.
bug. He just knows when I have anxiety. He knows when I'm not. Like the first couple nights, he was all over me,
Yeah.
and it's so funny. When me and Grant, he'll get like a purpose, and he'll jump at the end of the bed, and he just like he knows he's coming to cuddle, and that is it. And he just like has this walk, and I have to like
I
get
love
ready,
that.
get my spoon ready, put my arm out, and then he just like curls in, and we
I
just like
love
curl up
that.
together like this. And then here's Grant behind us being like. And he's like, I hate it. He's like, you guys are just, I'm the
Yeah,
third
is there
wheel
room
here.
for me in there? That's Smokey. As soon as I'm in
Yes.
bed and I've moved
Yeah.
like the one pillow out from behind me and beside me, he's up on the
He
pillow
knows.
behind me immediately. Like, okay, bedtime,
Yeah.
getting ready.
He's like, it's time. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm ready, mom. Yeah. It's so fun. They're so cute that way, but they do. And people don't see it as much because I feel like you said, if it's a stranger, they don't have that kind of love as much. You know, it has to be like a cat person. Like cats know when it's a cat
Yeah.
person too, right? So if you're not, they're not going to be like all over it. But cats are so affectionate. And I find they're so needy. Like I can tell, like I've had to be extra to bring the energy up in the house for them because they're just so used to both of us vibing
Yeah.
all the time. And they're very needy creatures and they're used to like routine. So once it's out, they're just, but oh my gosh, despite all of the shitty things that they do, I love
when
them
we've
so
had
much.
people come and
Crazy
cat sit or house sit, that's when you know their true personality too. Smokey is very social and he'll come out and see you and say, hey, what's up, love me,
Yeah.
come over here. And Kitty apparently is the
Yeah.
biggest bitch. Like she just does not, she'll eyeball you from afar
No
like
interest.
I don't know who you are,
I don't know,
but you're not coming near me. Like she's just a
No,
very
I'm gonna keep you at a distance.
antisocial cow. And
Stand off.
my aunt always, she's like, so the all gray one, I'm like, Smokey, he's nice. The one with the white is a bitch. I'm like, that makes sense. Like she knows her people and she
Fair.
loves her mom and dad, and that's
Yep.
about as far as it goes. And she
And that's
loves
all that
Evie to
matters.
bits and
Yeah.
pieces, but that's about that's
all
her
that matters.
circle, and she keeps her circle very
Yeah.
tight.
Very tight. Yeah, it's smart though. It's smart. The female cats, they know. And most people would think that's like Sophie does not like other men. Like she does not. Like she loves Grant. She's obsessed with Grant. Like I swear she would just like jump into his mouth and curl up inside of him. Like she's just
You have to earn
obsessed.
a cat's
But
love
any
for
other
sure.
man, Yeah, and any other man, she wants nothing to do with. Like, she will swat at them, she'll, like, hiss at them, she just, like, not interested at
Yeah.
all. It's
You
so
definitely have to
funny.
work for a cat's
I
love,
kinda
and I
love it.
think that's the best part about it, because once you have it, like,
Yes. It's
it's
forever, and
forever.
it's once they imprint on you,
They will
it's
bring you
that's it.
dead
It's over,
things
you're
from
done.
outside if they're outdoor
Yep.
cats. They
Yes.
will they've got you,
Mark their territory all over all your favorite
trying
clothes.
to trying to
This is
feed you
my
and trying
mom.
to keep you fat with all those
Yes.
dead mice that they bring you. Yeah, Nick hated that. His one cat used to do that. And it was just my one cat used to bring me
So
baby
fun.
birds.
Oh my
Disgusting.
gosh, that's cute. Gross and cute
But
at the same time because it's like, I know the
here's
point
the
behind it,
gift.
but this is
Enjoy.
disgusting. Anyways, on this episode, we're talking about cats. No, I'm just kidding. All about pets and cats. Just kidding. After 5 minute, 7 minute update on our pets and our lives, just so you guys wonder, we tried to keep it light. Okay, like the last episode we were on was kind of dark. Kind of. I mean, this one has its
Yeah.
moments. But talking about holidays, obviously we know which holiday. I forgot to tell you. I was last minute was like, okay, I'm talking about Christmas. I'm putting my
I'm
Christmas
Halloween.
here. Your Halloween. Oh, there we go. I have. We light
Oh, here
up.
actually.
For those that can't see that
I'm Halloween. My shirt has a
See, there you
scorpion on
go.
it.
You have a scorpion. You're set for it. So,
And I have my
holidays,
cat.
fam. So, we just celebrated Halloween
Right?
and we're going into the Christmas season. So, we thought, let's talk. Okay. First, learned a lot, as we always
Mm-hmm.
do. A little bit darker and crazier than I had an ideas for. So, fun, as always. But we thought we'd talk about these holidays a little bit more because, truthfully, sometimes I think, we just do things and we don't really know why we do things. Like, we hear of
And
why,
they've been so
like, oh,
modernized
Halloween is,
that
but like,
I feel like the
yes,
true, like, I don't know, history and meanings behind them are so, like, culture washed and whitewashed and just
convoluted
completely, like,
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
diluted that.
Westernized. Yeah. Like if you think about fairy tales, like nursery rhymes, they're actually terrifying. Like the original nursery rhymes are absolutely fucked and
Like, Hansel and
terrifying.
Gretel is still has
So,
an element of fucked, but, like, that one, if you really think about it, like,
yes.
mm-mm.
What? Why is there a woman and what are you?
Why is she
So it's
stealing
like same
children?
with this. It's like where did this even come from? Yeah, like why is she eating
Yeah.
children? What is this? This like adrenochrome stuff? Are we Epstein Island talk? Like
Who
what is this
knows?
Satanist
Who
stuff? Like I don't
knows?
know. But so we thought we would take this episode to go through where did Halloween come from? What is it doing? What's our favorite things about it? And then same with Christmas as it comes up and just kind of see. I think I don't know what Hales is going to bring, but holy man, I learned some stuff about Christmas I wasn't expecting. But starting with Halloween, so it just happened. I
Right?
don't know. Did you guys? I handed out candy. I had about 40 something
We had
kids,
about
and I went all
35.
out.
Yeah. And we took
That's
advantage of
great.
Evie not quite understanding what Halloween is yet. And we had her hand out candy. She dressed up in like every costume that I could muster in the house. She did like 4 wardrobe change because she's Mariah Carey or some shit. She was a fairy, a cat, a fireman for a short period, and then a bunny because she has a bunny onesie that is way too small, but she tried it anyways.
But she wanted it.
And I got to wear my costume because I don't get to do anything anymore because I have a toddler and
Yeah,
it's just rare that I get to go enjoy Halloween anymore. So I took that and I took advantage and wore my costume all
you have
all
to.
day pretty much around my
I
house.
love
I
that.
went to pick her up in it.
If I was at work, that's perfect. If I was at work, I would have wore a costume, but I was like, it was a work from home
Yeah,
day and it's month end. And I was like, I really want my home day and then I want to be home. So I'm ready to get the
yeah.
house ready for trick or treaters because I have a commute. So I was like, no, I'm just going to stay home. So I did not. And then I was going to hand out candy, but people came really early this year. It was like fourth, like not for a long
Not
period of
for
time, but I had
us.
like a little wave at like between 4:30 and 5 and I was like setting stuff up and I wasn't even fully like hadn't even turned all the lights on and everything and I was like, "Okay." And then there was like a haul for like half an hour and then it was like 3
I'd seen
hours after
tons
that
of
like
people that,
slowly.
yeah, like they started real early. I think ours started
Yeah.
6:30, like around
Yeah,
supper
no, ours
time.
was definitely
And
6:30.
yeah, we
Yep.
had a solid little wave of people. We don't have we have like schools all around our house. I think we have
Yep.
one, two elementaries and a junior high around our
Oh
house. So
wow.
like we do have like kids in the neighborhood, but we didn't have a, like a ton. I
Tons.
had friends that I used to work with that like they live in Ardrossan and get like 400 plus kids a night, and I would
Yeah, there's some
absolutely
people
lose my
around here like
mind.
out Kettle Valley and stuff. It's like hundreds and people just go to the good neighborhoods. And then I seen this thing, so I do want to say this because I want to mention this because it broke my heart. But it was just saying like how much like seniors really love, like, if they're handing out
Mhm.
candy, like that's their excitement for Christmas. But then people always go to
Totally.
like the good neighborhoods, and then these seniors kind of get forgotten about. So I'm just gonna challenge our listeners that next year at Halloween, you can still go to the good neighborhoods, but if you do know of some elderly around the area that are handing out
Mhm.
candy, like maybe just do them a solid and bring your kids. Like that, they get really excited for that
I
too,
agree.
right? And like, oh, it was a picture of an old man just sitting at the door and saying that like nobody came because there wasn't many people in the area, and he was just sitting there
I mean,
at the
I saw
door,
one
and it
with a
literally, I just
dog
started crying.
dressed up waiting to hand out candies. It was
See,
depressing. Whereas there's
mhm,
me, I had like
see,
6 bags of candies left. And I told Nick, I'm like, if there's not a kid here in 10 minutes, I'm shutting the lights off. I don't even care. I'm done with this. I want to go read my book. Like, I'm so,
no, there's a point where you have to stop. Yeah, at 8:30, I was like,
yeah,
I took half of what was left for ourselves, and then I put a sign and was like, "Happy Halloween, one spool's empty, we're out." And I just kind of like
I
turned
love
most of the
that.
stuff off, but then left it there. There was still some left when I went out in the morning,
Really?
but they definitely came. I could hear them after. Yeah,
Oh,
oh, yeah.
wow.
Yeah, there, I heard the people coming after 8:30. Yeah, you could hear
That's
them.
cool.
Our neighbor has like our one neighbor had their like light on to turn on so people could at least see it,
Yeah.
and I was fine with it. I was like, please take it, because I overbought. I always do. I always, and it sucks because like we'll talk about all the stuff about Halloween, but it's like I fucking hate all the candy stuff. I really do. I don't think kids should be having all this stuff, but at the same
I can't
time,
tell
it is
you
hard to give up some of these
how
things.
terrible I felt handing out candy to people's children because we
I know.
got one
I
box
know.
of 125 chocolates and one bag of
Yep.
Maynards. So it had like Swedish fish, the berries, fuzzy peaches,
Yep.
Sour Patch Kids, and like all those. Those ones
Yep.
specifically, I felt so terrible because all I could look at were the dyes and like how fuck, like
I
it
know.
just bugged me. And like that's just me. I
Me too.
understand the whole purpose of Halloween and I did
Me too.
enjoy like still giving kids candy, but like this year was different.
There's
Like
that
it
part of
really,
inside of
really
you that's
bugged
like,
me.
same. And I was like, I'm not going to buy as much. And then I'm like, you know what? I did. And then I was just handing it out. I was like, but I was like, but that's up to the parents to regulate.
Yeah,
Like they get
right.
to decide. I'm like, whether you're, it's like, but then it's like the argument of drug dealers. Like, well, if it's, people are going to do it
That's kind
anyways.
of
And it's
why
like, it's so
I was
hard. I
happy to
struggle
take
too.
advantage of Evie not trick or treating, so I didn't have to
Yeah.
have like an entire bag of her. Like even the stuff we had, she found out where it was, and she will still go open the closet. There's nothing in there anymore. And chocolates,
Yeah.
candies, and I'm like, no. Like
Uh,
she very
no,
much
we're
understood. I
not
gave her
doing
like
this.
tons of Arrow bars because it was just chocolate. If Smarties started
Yeah.
to bug me, I didn't even want to give her Smarties anymore because of the dye coating.
I
And
know.
just like,
I hate that
ugh.
they've ruined
I
this.
just
I've ru- it
well,
sucks, but it's whatever. Because I'm like, it's one time of
you
the year,
can't
but then
hand make stuff because I feel like a lot of people are super skeptical
no,
on handmade. You know what I mean?
and they should
My
be, because there's
cousins
crazy people out
took their
there.
kids trick or treating and they had a bottle of water in their bag. And I told Nick, I'm like, I would have egged that house. Like, I don't want your fucking bottle of water. But now I would have been like, yeah, sure,
And
give my
like,
kid a bottle of water. That's fine by me.
but even now, me is like, is the seal sealed? What's in
It's
there? Did they
fluorinated,
drug that
no
water? Like,
less. Like, fuck.
oh no, gross. No
Yeah, it
thanks.
was just really
Yeah,
it was a very mixed bag and mixed emotions for me. 'Cause, like,
it is.
obviously, I'm
I
not
was
going
the
to
same
deny
way.
kids like it's like the fun time of year, but like all of our
Yes.
holidays seem to revolve around candy, food, or
And
treats of sorts. Like that's what I mean by like
our
the
liquor,
true meanings have been
hoarding.
so diluted and it is just modernized with like consumerism. Buy this candy, buy this treat, buy these peeps,
Months
buy these
before.
fucking chocolate eggs,
Months
like
before.
everything. It's
Yeah,
crazy,
everything. And it's like, oh, mini eggs only available at Easter. That's how
right?
old I
And
am. And then
that's how they
now it's
get
like mini
you.
eggs are available
Because let me tell you, mini
24/7,
eggs
and it doesn't
are the
matter.
fucking
Yeah,
bomb. I used to fucking
they are.
love mini eggs, but you
Oh,
can't get
have
them
you
unless
tried
it's Chris or unless it's
the
Easter.
cat do you have you tried the Cadbury mini egg chocolate bar?
I don't even want to know that that exists, to be honest.
Don't, because it's the best chocolate bar I've ever had in my life, and it's terribly addicting,
Ooh.
and I'm like, what are you doing? So not, it's like mini
In the
eggs
chocolate bar.
in a Cadbury chocolate bar.
See, and we purposely grabbed the chocolates without the peanut butter cups because I would have eaten
Mm,
them all, and I cannot
that's how we all
have
of ours.
access to rockets because I will like I might as well snort them. Like I pop those things like they're an actual like Xanax drug. Like I could eat an
Ah, they're
entire
they're
bag of
so
rockets
addicting. Yeah,
in a few days
yeah.
flat. Like I just and all it
Ew.
is sugar. Like it is literally
It's just
compressed sugar.
compacted colored sugar.
I cannot.
But we should just get those in stick. Like
Oh,
it's just, and I agree. And I'm like, wonder why, and this is where I don't love that argument, but it's like, no wonder why everyone gets sick in the winter because it's like, okay, back to school, everyone's getting together and it's like, probably not as like cooked meals. Like it's very fast and busy. And then you go straight into like Thanksgiving. And then all of a sudden Easter, Jesus, the Halloween candy comes out like right around like end of
mhm.
September. And then it leads like soon as that's gone, even before that, 2 weeks they've got the chocolate stuff out. And then it's like, so you literally just, and then all of a sudden we have Valentine's Day. So it's like almost every 2 months,
There's a candy
kind of ish,
holiday.
6 to 8 weeks. There's a candy holiday, and then before it's weeks before that and weeks after that it's there. So like 6 months out of the year where we need to be getting the most best nutrients possible, where most of
Garbage.
us, and I'm included in that, have this just
Oh,
like
dude,
constant shit
I ate my fair
put in
share
front
of
of
the
us.
like I mowed some of those coffee crisps like they were going to
Oh, I
sell the
ate
Kit
so
Kats. Are
much.
you kidding me? Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, Kit Kats.
And I may not
Oh,
have given
Henry's.
Evie a
Yes.
lot of those Maynard candies, but bitch, I love fuzzy
But
peaches and those Swedish fish and
yeah,
berries were all
I'm
mine.
wrecked already.
It was
I'm wrecked
bad.
already. So like, why do we
Uh,
even worry about it for us?
it is.
But it does. It's something that you think of, and I'm like, how can I do this next year? Like you said. So I got like the real fruit. So I was like,
I've seen a lot of people
I'm
do
sure they're
that.
not any better, but in my mind, I was like, real fruits just look, maybe they're a little bit better. No, so maybe it's something we can look at this year of like, how can we get a packaged type product that's a little
Like
bit
I said,
more
like
how we
it's
feel.
hard to like I would be like, I don't
Soup,
know, like it's so hard because like we also grew up
homemade
with
soup.
Halloween being like there's razor blades and the fucking candies and there's drugs
Yeah,
and like all the memes about parents searching their kids' candies for the edibles that everyone is apparently handing out at fucking Halloween. But like
never had them.
I mean, how many people are actually doing that? But like, I don't know if I would be comfortable with someone giving Evie like a homemade cookie because you don't know what
No,
it is, what's in it, and
no.
allergies and all sorts of bullshit. Like, it's just kind of a lose lose. Like, there's not really winning. They're either gonna
No,
have the candy or they're
no.
gonna be really fucking left out. And I obviously do
Ooh,
not want her
we
to
could
do
get
that.
those carrot sticks and the dip that is like sealed.
Or you can be like the dentists that hand out fucking toothbrushes at fucking
Yeah,
Halloween.
yeah. I'll give you some crayons. How about that?
I
How
even thought
about
about
how
that,
about
like
yeah, like a
crayon.
toy, like little toys instead.
Here's a
Like
loony.
so when I used to
For give a
she's a
loony to
loon. Here's
every kid that comes up, $35. It
$1.
would have cost me less than the
Yeah.
fucking candy cost me. Like
Yes. Oh my God, it was so much money. Yeah, no, toys. So when I used to do photo booths, I used to bribe the kids that came in essentially with like some sort of
it's
gift.
like a treasure
So
box.
especially it started with the yeah, like yeah, something that they could take home so that when they came back, they knew that if they behaved well, that they would get some sort of prize from me. And I always asked the parents before, like, are we okay to do like, and now I would never ask. Now it would straight be toy, but before I didn't know. But at least I had asked this, like, is it okay if I give them, like, if it was Halloween and give them like a little Halloween candies, or do you not want that? And they would say yes or no. And then if they said no, then I would just get them like a little stuffy, like a Halloween
Mhm.
stuffy instead. And I did that for Christmas. And then I did it for Valentine's Day and Easter. And then I would just give them so that every time it was just like dollar store stuff. Like I didn't spend more than
Mhm.
$5. I kind of included that with the like $75 package. $5
That's
I
good.
would cart off to give like the kid a little thing, but I'd always ask because I knew some parents at that time were just like, yeah, no, we don't give our kids candy because of how they react. And I used to think like, what crunchy parents, like what terrible parents.
You and
And
me
now I'm
both,
like,
dude.
that is 100%
Honestly,
what I would
you
do,
and me both.
right?
And like, if I could,
Yeah,
and if people would accept me making homemade gummies in a little package to give their kid,
yeah,
I would gladly do so because it is like
yeah,
it's funny how yeah like
the best.
you don't even have to have kids to think of it now because like when you're younger it's
Yes,
like bitch give me the
right?
fucking candies like the fuck they're not gonna kill me
Yes, what's
and
wrong
now
with
it's like
you?
no but they
Yeah,
are gonna kill you like
no, seriously,
seriously
it's
though
gonna
they're
kill
gonna
you.
kill
Yeah, put that down.
you. It's
Yeah, don't
so
take that
and then
Tylenol.
yeah
Put
like
that M&M
people
down.
wonder why kids are always so like hyperactive and like anxious and just completely
Yes,
like
all the
deranged in the
time.
winters because all we do is load them up with fucking Halloween candy and then
And
Christmas
they don't go
candies
outside
and
as much. They don't go outside as much to
yeah
expel
it
all of
makes
that
sense.
energy. It's stuck, it's darker. Like we struggle with winter depression. We struggle now that it's dark at like fucking 4:30 in the
Mhm.
afternoon. Imagine these kids, and this is why I don't fully understand. It's like getting upset with them when they're sitting in a box room for 8 hours learning stuff, and then they come home and they have like an hour or two to expel stuff, which you usually don't because you're having dinner or after school sports. And then at nighttime, it's like I could see that getting to them on top of like all the side effects from having all this sugar and all this candy and all
Mm-hmm.
these dyes. Like, do all of these kids have behavior problems, or are their diets
It's
like
our
fucking crazy?
diets.
Because as we as adults, right? Like, and if you think like, and it's kind of veering, but this is where it's kind of like I understand why kids are crazy from like the beginning of school to like
Oh yeah.
the end of school when we've got all of these holidays that are overwhelming and over censoring, and like there's so much that we have to do, and like kids pick up on that
Oh
too.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're eating all these candies and these dinners and they're going out and it's cold out, and it's like it's just a perfect storm for
For
people to
sure,
get
dude.
sick or feel down mentally. So yeah, so Halloween was fun this year. I'm a person that dresses up anytime that
Yeah.
I'm at work. I will dress up. I have plenty of outfits dressed up. Like, I understand the like negative spiritual side that it can bring, but I am a person that chooses to look at holidays for what I see them as, not necessarily like it's good to know
Yeah.
these things, but I'm like, because I'm like with Christian, I'm not Christian, so but I'm still going to celebrate Christmas, right? So it's like whatever the darkness celebrates on Halloween, like I'm not a
See,
part
and
of that, but I do love the whimsical part
I
of it
don't know, like, I
personally.
get, like, I guess I have a family member, I won't say who, that was saying recently that Halloween is the devil's holiday, and all I had to do was laugh. I was like, that's fair and fine that you think of it that way, and like, that's your opinion, but like,
Sure.
I'm with you. Like, I'm gonna take it as it's 1 year, 1 day a year we get to dress up and be silly and wear
Spooky.
costumes and just like have fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't take it too seriously,
Yes.
but there is some like pretty interesting like meaning behind it,
Yes.
we'll say.
Yeah, let's hear
Okay,
it. Let's tell us. Let's tell us
so
what Halloween's about besides dressing like a
I've got
hoe
a bunch of
one time a
right
year.
that what we've turned it into. So I've got like the general of
Yeah.
like what Halloween is, and then breaks down some of like the weird old traditions that we don't really do anymore. But
Mm,
it says, okay,
mm,
so this website
we
is
should.
it's funny because it's blogs.lock.gov. So it's a government
No,
website.
I
So
love that
take
for
this with a
us.
grain of
It's a
salt. It
whole
might not all
civilian.
be like super
Right.
accurate, but like it's pretty much across the board what I found on the rest of them. And this one is just all on one site. So I
Okay.
found it very handy. So it says the Halloween holiday has its roots in the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, which I don't like Celtic words. I'm reading a book right now that is based in Ireland, and I love Irish accent. I love Ireland, but their words make no fucking sense because they look like one
Very
way.
difficult.
Like it is spelled Samhain. So I'm sitting here reading it like Samhain, Samhain. No, it's Samhain. There's a W in there.
Yeah, I would never
But
get that.
anyways, so the Celtic
Never
festival
would have
of
guessed that.
Samhain, a pagan religious celebration to welcome the harvest and the end of summer, when people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. So in the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor saints. Soon after All Saints' Day came to incorporate some of the traditions of Samhain. The events before All Saints' Day, known as All Hallows' Eve and later Halloween,
Mhm.
um, that's how it kind of came to be. So some of the traditions that we still do are like carving jack-o'-lanterns. It says the tradition of carving jack-o'-lanterns originated in Ireland using turnips instead of pumpkins. So they were carving turnips.
That's
Right?
impressive.
It's allegedly based on a legend about a man named Stingy Jack who repeatedly trapped the devil and only let him go on the condition that Jack would never go to hell. But when Jack died, he learned that heaven did not want his soul either, so he was forced to wander Earth as a ghostly entity. The devil gave Jack a burning lamp of coal and a carved out turnip to light his way. Locals eventually began to carve scary faces into their own turnips to frighten away evil spirits. So, yeah, like a lot of these have
Ooh,
really
interesting.
very
That's
interesting
cool.
backgrounds that you just like you kind of
Yeah.
assume but like don't know. So it started with turnips, which
Yeah.
if you've ever seen a turnip, they're not very big. So yeah, like that is a skill.
No.
But I don't think they
And
hollowed
like,
it
how
out. They
would
just
you
poured
hollow it out?
faces
Or
on and like kind of hollowed it enough for like a little candle that's like it's just a turnip made me laugh. Like I honestly laughed pretty hard.
okay. I'm doing it next year.
Right?
Turn up carving. It's happening.
So
I'm gonna
seeing
honor it.
ghosts is another thing. Like we all, it's
Yep.
very ghouly on Halloween. So the festival of
Mhm.
Samhain marked the transition to the new year and the end of harvest and the beginning of winter. Celtic people believe that during the festival, spirits walked on earth. Later on, Christian missionary produced All Saints or All Souls Day, which is November 2nd, which perpetrated the idea of the living coming into contact with the dead around that same time of year. So that's why they wore scary costumes, was in order to avoid being terrorized by all the evil spirits walking on earth during Samhain. The Celts donned disguises in order to confuse the spirits and be left alone. So that's why we wear scary costumes, is to blend in with the scary ghouls and entities that are walking the earth, which I thought was kind of cool, because it did
Interesting.
originally start
That
with
is
like
really cool.
like, think about it, like ghosts, vampires, werewolves, like
Mm-hmm.
we were always like the dead, like
Basics.
all the scary
Mm-hmm.
ones. And then yeah, it has slowly melded into girl world, where we just all wear bunny ears and a fucking piece of lingerie, go out in the snow in Alberta with your fucking knee-high
Oh,
boots,
these
like
girls.
freezing
Yeah.
your ass off because you
Oh,
can't wear a coat.
no, because that's just not cool.
Right?
It doesn't look good
So
with
it
the
did start
outfit.
with like
It's
super
just
scary stuff,
interesting.
which it does, right?
Yeah.
But that made me laugh.
Yeah. So you wonder if like the girls that go all out that dress like, there's always those two kind of girls at Halloween, like some that
Yeah.
dress like to look good and some that just dress as Halloween. It's like I wonder which ones are old spirits there,
Well, not
right?
to
Like you
mention
could
like
tell that is an old
the
soul.
Katie
It's like
Herons of the world that dress like a like ex-wife and
yeah,
like super scary are scaring
yeah,
off the evil spirits. The bitch that's dressed like a
yeah,
slut is calling in all those evil spirits, and she is haunted.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Please put your whole
you
bits
can't
away.
tell me that
Yeah.
that's scaring anything away. Like, just
Yes, no, it's just
it made
enticing.
me giggle.
Close your whole self.
Right?
Yes. See, now we see how they've just
I love
destroyed
it.
society with sexualization of
I
everything. It's like,
know.
and not that Halloween is
And if you were to wear
sexualized, but
something
like I feel
scary,
like
it has to have an element of like fashion,
oh
or
to it.
like
Yes.
being pretty. Like you can't just be scary,
Yes.
because then it's like
Like
you
gross.
can, but I mean, how many
It's not
people do
attractive.
that? Not very many, right? So trick or treating.
Last year,
Oh, sorry, go.
oh
No.
sorry, go ahead. I was just say last year I last minute decided to wear a costume to work. So I went to the dollar store and made a Kermit the Frog outfit, and I got literally got the green shirt from the dollar store, and I cut out felt, and then I made like eyeballs, and then I had the Lipton tea
I think
thing,
I
and I put
remember
a
that
sign that
too.
said,
You did do
"But
that.
that's
It
none of
was
my
so good.
business." And then I still have it. It's like a little board, and all day at work I would just write different things and take
That's
pictures,
like,
or like
I love that. That
yeah.
was a good one. I do remember that. That was
And it was a
good.
dollar store too.
That
I
was
was
our
like
last
dollar store one, and I
episode
had
where you were like
yes,
me and you were like the cute one, and then there's Kayla with her horrifying mask. We were like
yes,
literally the two polar opposites of Halloween.
it's perfect. And she always does that
I
too. She's
love
always the
that.
one to dress up, and like she was it the one year too. I think the clown one too. She did
Yeah,
the one year. She's very good at doing those.
it
But yeah, I just think
was.
it's so funny because like you can do dollar store. I just looked up
Oh
DIY,
yeah,
and I had that meme. I had the meme, and it was like, what do you want to be, or maybe you should try being who you pretend to be on Facebook for Halloween this year, or something like that. And I was like, that memory came up. I'm like, I am going to be Kermit the Frog. And I
oh
even
yeah.
got the Lipton tea thing like glued onto my teacup, and I went around with Lipton iced
I
tea
love
in it
that.
and just was drinking my
It's
tea
so
all day
funny.
at work, just saying shit.
I love
It's
that.
great.
So we were talking about trick or
So
treating.
anybody needs an idea for next
I
year?
love that. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Sorry. Yes. Trick or treating.
So
How did that start?
this says there's much debate around the origins of trick or treating, but generally there are three theories. The first theory suggests that during Samhain, Celtic people would leave food out to appease the spirits traveling the earth at night. Over time, people began to dress as these unearthly beings in exchange for similar offerings, food and drink. In the book I'm reading, they say that they leave like nuts and berries for the fairies by the trees, like at the base of trees, to like. It was
Yeah.
just really interesting. So it did start out with them leaving like food offerings for the evil spirits to kind of keep them happy and
Sure.
hopefully away from fucking them. Like
Yeah.
the second
Yeah. Like
theory,
bears, just take
right?
it and
Just take
go.
it and get the fuck out of here. The second theory
Goodbye.
speculates that the candy boon stems from the Scottish practice of guising, which is a spectacular version of souling. During the Middle Ages, generally children and poor adults would collect food and money from local homes in return for prayers for the dead on All Souls Day. Geysers dropped the prayers in favor of non religious practices with the inclusion of songs, jokes, and other tricks. So that one's kind of sad. Like, you had to
Trick
go
or
around
treat.
like begging for
Yeah.
food. So it's funny how like
Yeah.
we see it as like
By
a
doing
positive thing,
something.
but it like some of these theories are kind of like sad and dark. And the third theory
Yeah.
argues that a modern American trick or treating stems from, oh my God, I'm sorry if I butcher this, Belsnickling, a German-American Christmas tradition where children would dress in costumes and then call on their neighbors to see if the adults could guess their identities in the disguise. In one version of the practice, the children were rewarded with food and treats if no one could identify them. So,
Oh.
Bell
Could you imagine the existential crisis
Belsnickling
of that sentence
sounds
right now?
horrible,
If
but
if they couldn't identify the
you get
costumes, we would
food,
have a lot of melted liberals.
right? So they're just, it's very
Halloween's just the
interesting
same.
how I kind of like the first
Shit.
theory where like they just leave like
Yeah.
food out to appease the spirits traveling the earth at night.
Yeah.
But it's funny how there's multiple theories for that. I found that really interesting.
Yeah.
And some of these photos I wish I could
There's
show
always
you,
arguments around
but
it
it won't
too.
like show up on the thing. Some of the black and white photos they have of some of these kids' costumes are truly horrifying. Like I don't like it. Like this Donald Duck right here looks like a demon. And it's like that is not the Donald Duck I know. I don't appreciate this. Why would you dress someone up like this? It's truly disgusting.
But that's apparently what it used to be like before we had all this stuff. Like it was really like
Dark.
terrible costumes that are dark that just like
Did not
didn't really represent what they were trying to, but that's the whole point of it and that's
so
how
funny.
progression happens, right? Like now you just walk in there and you can get like a whole thing and
Right.
it's like in a bag
It's
and you're
not
done and it's easy.
wacky
I like the
anymore.
dollar store
Yeah.
ones.
So there's only a
Yeah,
few more.
I like the dollar store
I'll say
ones.
there's only a few more things on here, but black cats is like I don't feel like black cats is so much anymore a part of Halloween, but for me growing
No,
up, like black cats was a big thing. I was a black cat many a year in
Salem.
my day. But the idea of being spooked by a black cat dates back to the Middle Ages when these dark felines were considered a symbol of the devil. It didn't help that centuries later, accused witches were often found to have cats, particularly black ones. People began to believe that cats were witches' familiar, supernatural entities that would assist in their practical dark magics and black cat spookiness. So I did hear something too that, okay, back in the day, the plague mostly came from
Yep.
rats. And
Okay.
those who did not get sick were often called witches because everyone was getting sick. But they were also the women who had cats who kept the rats away. So that was the reason they didn't get. So that's why they associated cats with witches a lot because they were just like crazy cat ladies that
Getting
weren't
away
getting
the
sick because the
diseases.
rats were not around because the fucking
Yeah.
cats were keeping them away. And I thought that was so. I was like, dude,
That's too
that's the
funny.
correlation between witches and cats. Like, I love that. See me with no plague.
That's
I've got two
hilarious.
fucking cats. I'm healthy as
Yeah,
shit.
I'm good.
Look out. Like, I fucking love it.
Look out.
It made me giggle. But another thing
That's
that they have in here is bobbing for apples. I didn't necessarily associate that with Halloween, but I guess it kind of technically
Yeah, I guess if you see it, that would be like,
but it says the game of bobbing
yeah,
for apples has been a staple at Halloween parties for many years, but the origins are more rooted in love and romance. The game traces back to a courting ritual that was a part of the Roman festival honoring Pomona, the goddess of agriculture and abundance. While multiple versions existed, the gist was that the young men and women would be able to predict their future relationships based on the game. When the Romans conquered the British Isles in 43 AD, the Pomona festival blended with similarity time to Samhain and precursor to Halloween. So I thought that was kind of cute, but yeah, I totally forgot about bobbing for apples. I don't think anyone does it anymore
yeah.
because,
I
like,
feel like that was
why the fuck would
no
you? But every time I thought about it, and
germs,
every time
COVID,
you
that
did
never happened.
see it, it was people dressed up. So
Yeah,
it was just kind of cute, I
yeah.
thought.
I remember that from more of like kids Halloween stuff as a kid.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like at like when we were a kid, like I feel like I remember seeing that kind of
when
thing
we
at
were
like a
young,
Halloween,
like
like
I didn't
when we were
see it
younger, but
after.
that definitely
Yeah,
phased out. No,
so
not after grade school, I would say.
I'm trying to think.
That's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Another one that they have here that I totally forgot about because I mean, like, they're still around, but I haven't seen one forever. It's candied apples.
Oh yeah,
And it's the same
we
thing.
have
It's
one at
during
the
the
place
Roman
of my mom.
festivals of Pomona, the goddess was often represented by and associated with apples. So that's where it kind of came in. But um, it's just, or what is it was believed that candy apples were invented accidentally in 1908 by a man, a candy maker in Newark, New Jersey. As the story goes, he was experimenting with red cinnamon candy to sell at Christmas time, and he dipped apples on a stick into the red glaze and he put them on his window shop to showcase his new candy. But instead of selling the candies, he ended up selling the apples because they thought they looked like good enough to eat, which I mean,
Delicious.
everyone. I
They are.
truly don't think I've ever had a candied apple. Ever.
No,
No.
I've had a candied apple, and I prefer caramel apples
God,
personally,
I
but I've
would
definitely
take
at the fall fair
those.
definitely had.
That's another one that I miss from Halloween. Those caramel apple suckers.
Yes.
Those I
Yep.
could eat like
Those were good
crack. Those were fantastic. I
forever.
loved
Yep.
those.
Yep.
But
They're so
the
good. Why
only
didn't
other thing in like they've got bats in here, so bats were likely present at the earliest
oh,
proto
see?
Halloween celebrations, just not symbolically but literally, as a part of Samhain Celts lit large bonfires which attracted bugs, which bugs equals
Mm,
bats, unfortunately.
bats.
They've got candy corn in here, which I think candy corn is positively disgusting. Candy
Did
corn
you ever
was
watch that
originally called
Superstore
chicken
episode?
feed and sold in boxes with the slogan "Something worth crowing for."
That's terrible.
When I read
Have
that,
you ever
I
watched
honestly I
Superstore?
died. I was like, that sounds so unappetizing. It's not even funny. Chicken
It's
feed?
not
Why the
great.
hell would you eat that?
Not what I want. Not what I want. Have you ever watched Superstore and Garrett just like eats piles and piles of the candy corn? He's like, it's like eating candles.
It truly,
And then I didn't know that they're supposed to stack up, and if you stack them all up, it can
yeah,
like stack up
it
to
is
corn. I had no idea till
truly
like
like
2 years
the
ago.
it's
Like
just
just wax.
why was that made? Like
It's
who eats those?
I
No
don't know.
one,
That's pure. That is pure dye. That's it.
literally.
That's all it is
And
right
then the
there.
last
Like
one on
that's what
here
it.
is devouring candy. So it says the act of going door to door for handouts was or has long been a part of Halloween revelries, but until the mid 20th century, the treats children received were not necessarily candies. Things like fruits, nuts, coins, toys were usually given out. Trick or treating rose in popularity in the 1950s, which is very convenient because everything fucking seems to be popular.
The
Yeah,
50.
and it inspired
Yep.
candy companies to market small, individually wrapped candies. People began to favor the confections out of convenience, but candy did not dominate the at the exclusion of all other treats until about the 70s when parents started fearing anything unwrapped, which makes sense. And then underneath it, it has an ad from my birthday in 1962, October 24th. Trick 'em right, don't be treated. Buy Halloween candy by the box. 24 bars for 93 cents, Brandy. 24 bars of chocolate for 93 cents in 1962. 10 bars in a bag for 39 cents. Get M&M's, Hershey, Nestle, Powerhouse, Clark, Hollywood, Curtis, and Mars candies at tremendous savings. I thought that was
4 cents a
93
chocolate
cents.
bar compared. Yeah. So 39 for 10. So what? Like 4 cents a
It
bar?
was honestly, and 1 pound of candy corn was 21 cents. Like, barf on me, please. Like,
I wouldn't pay that.
absolutely disgusting.
I wouldn't pay that. You pay me 21 cents and I'll take it
Right?
off your hands.
That honestly, like when I saw, because it's way at the bottom, and I
Ugh.
was scrolling and seeing all like the horrific pictures of the children, was just like, I don't. Why am I looking at this? Like, I don't need this. And then I got down there and I saw that ad. I'm like, oh, dude, that's kind of an old timey cool ad. 93 cents for 24 chocolate bars, and we spent, I think the 124 or 125 box of chocolates was like 17 or 18 bucks.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like 20 bucks, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. It's
I thought it was
ridiculous. It's
insane.
nuts.
But I did
So
like,
just pay more money to poison
right? I
ourselves.
did like that, like, so the book I'm reading, like I said, is like based mostly in Ireland and then this different world that is still like very much Irish. But I've been reading a
Mm,
lot about Samhain and like their traditions, and it just, yeah, it got me thinking of like Halloween because I saw something on
where did this
Instagram that
come
said like that's where it's from. It's loosely like it's taken from the Samhain like tradition, and I just thought it was so
from?
cool. Some of the things that like we take for granted, like trick or treating started by
Where
giving
it came
like,
from.
yeah, like ghosts food. so they don't fuck with
To
you.
keep away.
And like, yeah,
Yeah.
some of that shit. And like
Like on A Bug's Life when they
even
put the
like
offering.
a lot of like Spanish cultures have like the Day of the Dead where they honor their dead relatives with
Mhm.
food. And so it still did
Mhm.
base on food quite a bit, but it was just, it's crazy how we've
Yes.
warped it into, yeah, like sugar high candy, consumerism, like garbage. Where like
Yeah.
I
Who's got
wish
the best costumes
Halloween was
or
more of like a
going out and
party,
partying?
get to dress up, and then have like meals with friends as opposed to like
Yes.
binge on
Gatherings.
junk,
I
you
rather.
know? I
Yeah.
think I want to start a
Yeah.
new
And
tradition with
each
Evie, and we
and
might do that. We'll hand out candy and we'll keep some for her, but I want to start having maybe like a Halloween party with like the three friends that I have and maybe their kids.
yes. Hey man. 3 is better than like 30 in my opinion,
Less
right?
food to
Like
prepare.
I don't know, it's just funny. It's I think it was fun to watch all of our different friends at different levels of their like spiritual journey or their just like growth journey and just like
Yeah.
wanting to participate, some people not wanting to, some bringing their kids into it, some not. Like I really feel like it's one of those things that's like you get to decide as a parent and yourself, like, I don't think just because you wear a mask like and dress up that means that you worship the devil.
No,
Like I'm a pretty deep conspiracy theorist and
I
I
still,
I
I can't
don't
get behind that.
I don't see that. Like I understand it's dark, but like they also say that like even Harry Potter is like
I just finished
I don't
watching
think
all the Harry
witches
Potter
are
movies. If anything, it's like
yes. Yes.
ridiculous. Like there's no way.
Well, and it's just like right and it's just like however you decide to do it, right? Like there is definitely obviously a dark
You
side
can't
to
just
all of this,
see
but
the
like a
bad
lot
in
of it
everything.
yeah, and you get to just decide. So it's like I'm finding that right now. There's so many people already because here we are with the arguments. Don't put your Christmas lights up before Remembrance Day, and like again, two truths can exist at the
Yeah.
same time. You can like, and one of my girlfriends made a good point too. It's just like I want to support the veterans and those that lost, but I don't support war. So it's like I don't, you know what I
Where
mean?
Nick
Like
and I,
I'm thankful for everyone in the
on the
past.
same hand, we're like, we
Sorry,
find
go
it like, I'm just not like the hugest, like, I don't decorate my house tons for anything. So, like,
ahead.
Christmas, yeah, we'll get our
Yeah,
tree up and
that's nice.
stuff. But, like,
Yeah,
we were talking about that, like, we're not that, like, I'm not the type that, like, laughs at my, like, that meme we were seeing, laughs at my husband's joke on Halloween because tomorrow on November 1st, I'm going to have him drag out all of our Christmas decorations. But, like, I'm
yes,
fine with people putting up their Christmas stuff. But we also were saying, like, it is kind of like sad that Remembrance Day kind of gets like skipped over. And Nick was saying, yeah, our veterans get a day that gets glossed over a lot of the times because it is right in the middle of two very big holidays.
hmm
But like the
commercialized. Yeah,
Nick said, the Gay Pride month, they get a whole month. Like our
yeah,
veterans are like
yes, yeah,
very much minimized. But I'm still, like I said, like people decorate and I'm fine with
yeah,
that. I've got some of the stuff out upstairs, but like
yeah.
it is,
Oh, I don't do it till December
I
1st. I'm
usually
not a
do
person that
December
does it till I
1st,
usually
but it
well,
is true. Like,
it would probably it'll be like whenever Grant shows
yeah,
up, like whenever he's home closest to, like I don't want to wait till he gets here mid-December and then decorate because then it's like 2 weeks and it does bring me joy. I think my just thing with it is like I get it
yeah,
totally. It's just the argument about it and it's like but they fought for our freedoms to be able to choose with what we wanted
exactly.
to do and most veterans don't get upset when they see that because it brings happiness to people and they were able to give people the freedom to honor their religion or whatever it is that you look at Christmas for. But I did the argument online is starting already. Like, I'm like, can we just drop
I
this
will say
argument? Like, I
Mariah
don't.
Carey in her post on November 1st about it's her season, like I wanted to like pump the brakes,
Oh
bitch.
yes,
Like December 1st is fine, but
I
like
know.
calm the fuck down.
Yes, yes.
However, I
But I
will be
just think
playing
too,
that
like, and I said
song
this.
nonstop all through December
Oh,
and singing it at the top of my lungs.
nonstop.
But
Yes.
like,
And I think that brings a better point of like what you and Nick are saying. Like, yes, it does. And here's the thing: it's like there is just one
yeah,
day, and it is good to remember them all the time. And most people that have them in their lives, but like isn't it kind of beautiful that it didn't get commercialized
that's
though?
the
Like,
thing. That's what we were saying. Like Halloween and Christmas are
isn't
so
it good that maybe it's
commercialized that
just
it's just taken
yeah,
over. Whereas that day should not be commercialized. That day should be very much,
no,
I don't want to say
the
somber, but
remembers
it should be a
reflective.
full day of
Yeah.
recognizing what people went through to give us the opportunity to now, yeah, indulge in Christmas, Halloween,
Mhm.
Thanksgiving, like all of our holidays and all of
Mhm.
our lives and stuff. But it's funny that like it does get glossed over, but it's because I feel like it's not attached to like consumerism or buying something or fucking big meals like Thanksgiving, or you know what I mean?
Totally.
But the
Yeah.
poppy is still very popular,
But I
and I
do
do see
struggle.
them coming out, which is
Yeah.
nice. But
And I totally agree. I think the biggest thing too right now, and like probably gonna piss some people off, what's new, but like we don't want war now. Everyone's saying
that's the other
stop
side of it.
war. And so it's like, yes, let's honor the veterans and what
Yeah.
they gave up, but we also, it's in my opinion a time to reflect on why the fuck are we dealing with war at this time? Like this should be something that is in the past that we commemorate and and give
Yeah.
that thanks for sure and honor them, but it's not something that people should be
It's
living
hard
in
to,
these days and
yeah,
ages.
like
Like
I'm
we don't support war, but then
support the
we say, and
veterans.
I'm not saying we don't. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just like, just with the Halloween candy, I'm in the middle of that, like, it's like, someone said that the other day and made a comment saying, like, I support those that sacrifice it and I get that, but I don't support war. So I also
It's a
struggle
very
with,
hard
like,
holiday to like emotionally, yeah, like get behind. Like I know exactly what you're
right?
saying, because I'm the same. Like I don't support
Right? I
war,
was
but
just,
I'm obviously very
no.
grateful for my relatives and
And
everyone
yes,
else's relatives that
yes,
sacrificed what they did and went through what they did so we could have freedoms. But at the same time, if you go down rabbit holes like Brandy and I have, is that really what they did? Like, if you really understand what
do you see
wars
what I
are
mean?
and like what wars represent and like who they
And who's
benefit
starting
and like
them?
who starts them and what
Yes,
their like whole purpose is, like it just really clouds how you see things. Like I am 100%, like I will never dishonor someone that went through it, because they were the victims in that.
no,
They're the innocent people that got drug into it,
100%.
that were made told you
Yes,
have to enlist, you have to defend your country, blah blah blah, while all the puppet
yeah,
masters sat pretty up here making money off of it. You know what I mean? So it is very much
yeah,
like a,
totally.
especially when you've gone down the holes and like you're on this side of things now, it's a very, it's very nuanced. Like there's just a lot to it.
Yes.
You know, like there's that Smokey's being a pain in my ass on this side.
I could just Benji's approaching and he's never interrupted the
Maybe
podcast
they'll see
before
each
because
other
I've
and
never
start,
had the door open.
oh!
Yeah, start fighting each other. That would be a whole thing. But no, like, and obviously, and yes, everybody that sacrificed, like anybody that has been forced
Yeah.
to do that, 100% honoring them and their lives and what they sacrificed for us today. What I think that I would love is that on that time, not only is it, yeah, thanks. Hi. Hi. Not only would I like to see that and like the remembrance of
Adventures.
Benji on the show.
Look, Smokey, who's that?
He's a baby.
Who's that?
Who's this?
He's looking.
What do you see?
He's looking. He sees him.
Oh, Benji has no idea what's going on.
Smokey.
What's
Who's
going on?
that?
He looks
Oh
so
my god,
pissed.
he's so cute.
So chunky. But at the same time, I think, yes, please let's honor everybody that we lost and make
Yeah.
sure we thank them for that. But it's also a good time, I think, to reflect on what it is that war means to us as individuals and not shying away, like being very blessed that we're not in an open one right now. We're not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, but just meaning like I think it's a good time to ask the hard questions too
Yeah.
about war and who funds them and who starts them. And, is it the bigger people than all of it, like putting us against each other and just watching it happen and doing their dirty work for them. You know what I mean? Like I just really struggle. And I never thought about that until this year, until someone's like, yeah, but I don't want to
I
support
also feel like it
war.
kind
And
of
I was like,
sets us up for Christmas in a
oh,
nice way, of like it makes you thankful and grateful and just like appreciative of
yes.
everyone you have around you and like what you've all gone through
Yeah.
to like get to where you are,
Get
type
there.
thing. And like when you're celebrating with your families, like it's just very much, it's sad to say, but it definitely like primes you for a time of togetherness, especially in the winter when all you can be
Yes.
is together inside. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Yes. Cause like, what the fuck else are we
Yeah.
doing? It's actually been really nice here about weather.
Dude,
I'm not knock
I
on wood, but
knock
this
on
time
every
last year.
fucking piece of wood that is surrounding me. I was driving today thinking,
Yeah.
like, where the fuck is Alberta? This isn't Alberta. Where's our
I know.
snow? It is
No,
fucking November,
I
for
know.
Christ's sakes. Like,
I
what the
know.
hell?
There was like this much snow in Kelowna last year at this time. Like I was not driving to work.
I was not
I was
prepared for
carpooling.
this. So bless it. I will take
No.
it. Don't take it away. Don't dump on us here soon. But yeah, like it definitely, I feel like Remembrance Day kind of does prime us for that. Like, I don't know. I feel like every holiday should like just be grateful for the family and people
Yeah.
you have surrounding you and like with you. But Christmas is a huge one. I feel like,
Definitely.
especially for Canadians, and the fact
Yeah.
that like 9 times out of 10, it is indoors, and we are with everyone we love
Yes.
inside one house, which sometimes can be quite
Yes.
claustrophobic. Like my family, we've got tons of us, right?
Yes. Yes. All right, babes, let's take a tiny little break of this amazing episode because it's time to do another shout out. I have been absolutely loving doing these shout outs. I hope you guys have enjoyed them as much as I have because it's super important to us to make sure that we're supporting our community that supports us so much. So, on today's shout out, you guys, I am so excited to do a shout out to my babe Jamie at Ritual Hair Studio. Now, if you are local to the Grand Prairie area, you get to be blessed with the ability of getting your hair done by this absolute bomb magician, you guys. I absolutely love this human being, and I am so honored that she said yes to allowing me to shout out to her because you guys, between her salon and her work, it's just she's incredible. So I'm going to show here if you can see her beautiful salon that she's had at her home. Now, I believe it's been a year and a half. Congrats, girl, on opening your own home studio after 14 years of being in a salon, if I read that correctly. So congratulations. And this salon is absolutely beautiful, you guys, in her own home in Signature Falls, and it gives you a complete spa feel. Now, my favorite thing about spas at home when they're in people's homes is that you get the beautiful feel you get out of your home, you get that whole environment, and then you get the one-on-one, so you absolutely have the privacy and you get your hairstylist all to yourself. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am selfish because I use my hairstylist as a therapist, and so I absolutely love having that privacy and that one-on-one feel to just let go and get some self-care and feel good. And also on top of that, this girl is just absolutely amazing at doing hair. If you can see on the side here, all the amazing work that she's done, I think she is just, like I said, an absolute magician. And she also, so what she does is customized color. She does cutting and styling services as well as hand sewn hair extensions and tape in extensions as well. And guys, like you can see, her work is absolutely incredible. What I really love about what she's done is that she's gone and got a certification, tried all the different ones, which I love. I love that you've tried different ones, Jamie, and you've now found your favorite here with Babe Hair. It's ethically sourced, which we absolutely love on the show, making sure that you're getting something that feels aligned to you. So they're ethically sourced Remy human hair and will last months and months with proper care. So, one thing I love about hairstylists like Jamie is the continual education approach that they take. It's not just what you've always known, it's what's new and what can we do to bring a full experience to our clientele. And I absolutely love that. So kudos to you, Jamie, for doing so good by your clients, and it shows by the work that you do and the beautiful space that you have created. So you guys, if you want to go follow her, you can find her on Instagram at ritual_hair studio, or on Facebook, you can find her at Jamie Gabler Hair at Ritual Hair Studios. And she also has a website, ritualhairstudio.square.site. So you guys can go there and book or message her about being a potential client of hers. And yeah, just wanted to shout out to her and just wanted to send some love. So let's get back to the show. And we'll lead into that. So Christmas. So looking into this, as always, this got real religion. Like, and I know because like what people know Christmas to be is the birth of Christ and the celebration of it. Listen, going into this, I am not a religious expert, and there's a lot of references and words to things that I do not understand. And I think that points to just again how far Christmas
Yeah.
has gotten away from like its original
How it's just been,
meaning
yeah.
and how it started. But so going through this, the number one thing that I will say is that I did not understand that there was a controversy between the origins of Christmas. I thought
We all do.
that Christmas was
Just his
celebration
birthday.
of Jesus's
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
and
Jesus.
that's that. Like, we're celebrating baby Jesus and we're buying each other presents because he loves us and he wants us to all have
Yeah.
presents.
Not so
Well,
much.
there's different versions. So like it's so funny when I go and I read all the stuff like on Google and all the like Christmas stuff. If you go and go or origins of Christmas, right? You're seeing all the Christian stuff. To find the pagan stuff, you actually have to put in, is Christmas a pagan
Which is
holiday?
funny. You think
On the
they
flip
want
side,
you want they're hiding it, which makes me want to think that it is
yes,
more
because
so.
pagan. And I don't know, Christians, don't come at me. I don't care either way. I'm still opening and closing presents. I do not celebrate Christmas as it once knew. But what I found interesting is that when you flipped and you looked at YouTube and you looked at shorts, the amount of people calling out Christians saying it is a pagan
I can
holiday
see it.
was far more overwhelming than the
Same as well.
opposite. So I just find that interesting. It's like on Google, it is all very which is kind of opposite to the world right now. Like, unfortunately it feels like Christians out of most people are kind of getting a little like, hate on, um or scrutinized a lot, and like God is really taking a hit with like where it should be celebrated and all that. So I find this like super interesting. So if we go to, let's say, CNN, okay, so we're going to go to CNN, and what does CNN say that it is? The first time the birth of Jesus Christ was attributed to the date December 25th was in the 4th century, according to Roman history. Now, if you look at this more and more, there's a very big divide on this. There's a lot of people that say absolutely not. Jesus was not born on Christmas Day. That has nothing to do with it. He was born in the spring. He was born like a year before his resurrection or something like that. I can't, again, I don't know, you guys. It's all over the place. Like, y'all need to get your story straight. So that was the biggest thing. Is like no one has a confirmed date, allegedly, of when Jesus Christ was born. So to say that that is what December 25th is, to some people, is
Mm-hmm.
misinformation. So I just find that interesting, because that's what I grew up knowing, um, that it was baby Jesus'
Yeah.
birthday, right? And so early celebrations of Christmas are thought to have be derived from Roman and other European festivals that mark the end of the harvest and the winter
Yeah.
solstice. So that is like the main part, right? Is like it's the winter solstice, like that's,
Well,
cropping out,
similar
we're
to Halloween,
celebrating,
where it's
we're
end
doing
of
a fall
harvest, right? And like the end of,
exactly. And
yeah, and beginning of
right
fall and
after,
winter.
yes, right, so then the winter solstice follows right after the harvest, right? Makes sense. So customs, from celebrations that have endured include decorating homes with greenery, giving gifts, singing songs, and eating special food. The holiday developed further with the legend of St. Nicholas. Although much of his history is unconfirmed, the man became St. Nicholas, lived in the 4th century, and is believed to have been a bishop in Asia Minor. Many miracles attributed to him being are dubious at best. Nevertheless, some countries named him their patron saint. He is also considered the patron saint of, among others, children for protecting them, sailors who repeatedly saved at sea, and the poor who he generously gave gifts to. In his honor, the feast of St. Nicholas was marked on December 6th and gifts given the night before. The tradition was well established in many European countries by the 12th century, eventually, because St. Nicholas Day and Christmas Day are so close together, the traditions generally just combined. So in the Netherlands, they called him Sinterklaas. Um, Father Christmas came out of Great Britain. Père Noël came out of France. And in Germany, St. Nicholas, and he also had Klaasber, or Berklaas, Ruklas, Berliklas, and
Okay, and don't
Sinterklaas.
forget from
Also Father
the Santa Claus movies, Popo Gijo. I always remembered.
Popo Shisho.
But
And then the Dutch settlers, Sinister Klaus, and then eventually evolved to
pardon my
Santa
ignorance,
Claus.
did you say that Saint Nick originated in Asia?
It says Asia Minor. I don't
I
know
was gonna
what
say
that
I'm
is. I don't
ignorant
know
as
where that is.
fuck.
I'm
And what
so
the fuck is
sorry.
Asian? He's Asian.
No,
Asia
I don't
Minor.
think so.
I'm gonna
I
have to
don't know
Google
if
that. I feel like an
I'm not
absolute
sure. Maybe you
ignorant
Google it.
cow
I'm
for
not
that. But what
sure.
the fuck is it?
No. No. So this is what's interesting. It says the story of Jesus Christ's birth is told in the New Testament Gospel of St. Luke and St. Matthew. So this is where, guys, I have no fucking idea if that's true or not. But then in other places that I read, it was like there's no actual date of Jesus's birth. So it's like
Like,
it is
what is
so
it that?
confusing.
Yeah.
But
Okay, Asia
yeah.
Minor.
So some of
The
the other
first thing that comes up is
yeah,
Antola or Antolia. That can't be right. What is Asia Minor now? Yeah,
yeah.
Anatolia was also called Asia Minor. Okay, so modern Turkey.
Where's
Oh,
that? Okay, there you go.
so
Okay,
Santa
that
Claus is
makes more
Turkish.
sense. But
Gotcha.
okay, good to
Gotcha.
know. Good to know. Um, so that's interesting. So that's where a lot of what I've read was that Christmas celebrate, like some Christians celebrate Jesus Christ's coming on January 6th, the Epiphany, when they believe that he was
Okay,
baptized. So it's like there's so many people, and so the 12 days of Christmas refers to the 12 days between Christmas and Epiphany. So that's from like I thought it was like the 12 days leading up to Christmas, but the 12 days are like Christmas to January 6th.
interesting.
right? I think it's, anyways. The word Christmas comes from Old English Christ Mass, which means Christ
Yeah.
Mass. And then Xmas was used, obviously, because in Greece, X is the first letter of Christ's name. So that's where Xmas comes from.
It's
Apparently,
crazy how
allegedly.
like
There's so,
convoluted this is. It's Christmas. Like all we've ever
yes.
known is this
Oh,
happy
just
birthday
wait.
Jesus.
Jesus. Oh, just wait. We'll get into the pagan stuff. So, other quick things. Santa Claus was generally depicted as an elf until 1931 when
I
Coca
knew
Cola
that.
promoted him as a full sized human. Isn't
I
that
knew
crazy?
that.
And Rudolph didn't become the ninth reindeer until 1939 when an advertising writer for the department store Montgomery Ward just created him. So, that's fun.
Wait,
So, yeah,
so
I just,
Rudolph isn't even real? His nose didn't even glow? What a ripoff. I'm
no,
pissed.
I'm not real. That motherfucker in the
That
back
motherfucker back there
is
is
not
not
real.
real.
But she's lying, by the way. She's seen something. Um, and also, so in 1969, the Catholic Church dropped St. Nicholas feast day from its calendar because his life was so unreliably documented. And I think around, like, that's obviously when they would adopt the Christmas on being the 25th. So that is, as per CNN, is saying a brief holiday information. Now, if we go and Google, is Christmas a pagan holiday? This is what we
It's
get.
pagan as fuck.
Okay, so it's right. It's saying by, okay, there's so much to this, but I don't want to read all of it, obviously, but I'm just going to try and find this part here. So Webster defines pagan in our context, just for those that don't know, I still don't fully understand it, but means that relating to or having characteristics of pagans, which we're told are followers of polytheistic,
Ooh, that's a
religion
word.
as an ancient Rome. Yeah, so essentially, paganism represents those religion and cultic practices whose origins are outside of the three religions traditionally associated with the patriarch Abraham, which are Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. So I guess, like, by definition, pagan, there could be, okay, so by that definition of pagan, there can be no doubt that Christmas and most of its traditions bear thoroughly pagan origins, like decorating a Christmas
Mhm.
tree, hanging holly, singing carols, strategically placing a sprig of mistletoe, even gathering together for exchanging gifts. All these practices originated in pagan customs and worship traditions, many of which predate Christianity by centuries or millennia. So, in my notes that I pulled up, um, they're saying that there's other sources that say it's a combination of both pagan and Roman cultures. Romans actually, like I said, celebrated two holidays in the month of December. The first was Saturnalia, which was a 2-week festival honoring their god of agriculture, Saturn. On December 25th, they then celebrated the birth of Mithra, which was their son
I find it
god.
interesting that they seem
So
to
I
all revolve around
think it's just,
agriculture and like harvest and
yes, yes, and probably the sun and what it
yeah,
gives and like the
the
gifting and
seasons,
stuff like
so
that.
to
So
say.
yeah. Yeah, so it's like it's just kind of interesting because the Roman Emperor Constantine, um he was the person credited, I think, with actually like celebrating Christmas on December 25th in 3036. So he, under his ruling and that emperor, the Church of Rome began celebrating Christmas that on December 25th in 3036. And some say that it was to outshine the Sol Invictus and pagan celebrations. So I think there's just like beef going back and forth over
Is this
who should be
3036
doing what, and then
BC?
it
AD?
doesn't say AD. It said AD before, I think, but it's not saying it in this one.
I
So
was gonna
don't
say
quote me
this
on
man's
that.
living in the future,
I don't,
fuck. 3036, you
yeah,
make no damn
right.
sense.
Yeah, 3036 AD,
Yeah.
like before, I think. I don't know, you guys. I'm sorry. This is why I was struggling with this because I was like, so Constantine had made Christianity the effective religion of the empire. Some have speculated that choosing this date had political motive, weakening the established pagan celebrations. So it's like, yeah, it seems like it's
I
like
feel
this was something, and over time it
like
just
both of our
blends in,
my holiday
went somewhere
has
else.
nothing to do with religion like in the slightest, and I
No,
feel like a lot of
no,
the it's the devil's
no.
holiday would come from religious people because I feel like they're kind of like, in my opinion, are kind of geared, like they're pushed towards that opinion a little bit, but it seems as though like have an easier time believing that these holidays and any holiday was originated around like the change of seasons and like harvest or spring,
Yeah.
like things like that,
Yeah.
because
Or
like
equinoxes.
that has
Yeah.
been like before men could walk, we've had seasons, it seems like that's just kind of
Mhm.
like a natural like process, and like that makes it. And
Occurrence.
then as soon as like things started picking up like religion and all this, it seems to have, yeah, like you said, like kind of like
Gotten very convoluted.
and kind
Yeah.
of gone off together, like they're trying
Yeah.
to like cover
Yeah.
up,
Isn't
like
it crazy?
they've taken over and put it under their umbrella of religion type thing. And
Yeah.
I feel like that probably would be very similar to Easter because that's right around spring. It would be very similar to a lot of our, besides like Valentine's Day, Halloween, St. Patrick's Day isn't really religious. There's not
No.
very many. That's another one. If we do a part two to this, St. Patrick's Day is a fucked up. Like I've heard the origins of that is not even
Yes.
close to what we know. Like
Yeah, we'll do a spring. We'll do a spring
yeah,
version of
because
like Easter Valentine's Day because Valentine's Day is dark too, isn't it?
yeah,
Like
like
it's not
it's just
just
interesting how a lot of our bigger holidays have
mhm,
religious ties. Whereas if you
100%,
dig, like you
100%,
just said, like
100%.
I would be more tempted to lean towards the pagan since you had to dig for it a little bit more. Anything you really got to search for on the
Yep.
internet is where more my mind goes to,
Yes.
because why? Why is it not readily available?
Yeah, and
Why
when
do
people
they
get
not
really
want you
upset,
knowing this? You know?
yeah, and when people get upset about it, like I don't care either way. It doesn't matter. Like,
Christmas
and
is
I
a
guess
big one.
the idea, I think the biggest contention with this is that like on the pagan side and the Roman side, there was more like sacrifice, and they had like coliseums
It's
that they would
not
sacrifice
quite
people, and
the happy Christmas
it
culture we
wasn't like
have today.
exactly, right? It was a little bit darker. Some of this stuff is saying, like, for instance, mistletoe is associated with Roman fertility rituals.
Wow.
And Frigga, the Norse goddess of love and lust, the timing of Christmas corresponds not to the actual timing of Jesus's birth. Don't quote me on that. Which was likely in the fall, not in the winter, as our free study guide in Christmas is Christian explains in detail what yeah, it was about Saturnalia and the sun worship. In the third century, the Roman Empire, which at the time had not adopted Christianity, celebrated the rebirth of the unconquered sun, Sol Invictus, on December 25th. This holiday not only marked the return of longer days after the winter solstice, but also followed the popular Roman festival called Saturnalia, which people feasted and exchanged gifts. It was also the birthday of Indo-Europe deity Mithra, a god of light and loyalty whose cult was at the time growing popular among Roman soldiers. As for the popular Christmas tree, this too is a tradition of extra biblical origin and one of the ancient pagan precedent. In fact, we can see that precedent condemned in scripture. Look at the passage from Jeremiah with his favorite Christmas tradition in mind. So, like, to me, it seems like this stuff maybe predated Christianity, and that's the argument. But again, it's like we were never
See, I'm
there.
such a hippie that like the solstice makes sense to me because people like back in the day before religion and everything was a thing, that like I don't want to say people worship the
Yes.
sun, but like seasons were a big deal. You
No.
needed to get
Yes.
harvest done and ready. You
Yeah.
needed to get shit planted. You needed to go along with the seasons for
Yeah.
hunting, for foraging, for anything, right?
For your
Because that
life.
is the circle of life. Like you
Yeah.
depended on those changes for different reasons, right? So like
Yeah.
that to
Yeah.
me makes
And your
sense.
body adapted
Like the
to
solstice,
that too, right? Like
end of harvest,
yeah,
like, and that's the thing, end of harvest, which is like
longer days.
depending where you are, can go into August, November, some not really November, but September,
Mhm.
October. And then yeah, you
Yeah.
would reap those benefits and have big feasts throughout the winter to keep you fed because the winter months
Till
are
the next.
fucking rough, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
that makes sense to me. Whereas
Isn't it
like
crazy?
I'm
Right?
not trying to insult anyone. My family is very religious, like
No.
most of my family.
Yes.
It ain't like happy birthday
Yes.
Jesus no more to me. Like, I mean, happy birthday Jesus
No.
is all fine and dandy, but like,
Yes.
that's interesting.
Is this true? And that's what I was like, ooh, I don't want to piss anybody off. And again, I don't know, but look it up. Like go and look for yourself. And again, so on this one website, it's just like a random good housekeeping, like random facts of Christmas. And one of the very first ones, while Christmas celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ, the actual day of the big event is lost to
Yeah.
history. There's no mention of December 25th in the Bible, and many historians say Jesus was most likely born in the spring. Some historians post the date was originally chosen because it coincided with the pagan festival of Saturnalia, which honored the agricultural god of Saturn and celebrating and gift giving. So this is a completely different website, same thing. Number two, gifts have both Christian and pagan origins.
Mm-hmm.
Christians may have grown up learning that we give gifts at Christmas to mimic the presents the three wise men
Yeah,
brought
I
to
can see
baby
that.
Jesus. But like so many other traditions, it has its root in Saturnalia. The pagan origin originally gave offerings to the gods too. So it's like when we look at Halloween where they're like putting
Because I
out
feel like,
stuff
yeah, like
for ghosts, and
giving
this
gifts
is like it
to
kind of lines up.
not necessarily like God, but gods and
Yeah.
like deities of
Yes.
sorts is very much a common
Yeah.
thing. Like we all know that. Like that is very
Yes.
much a common practice in a lot of cultures. So that makes sense. Much more sense than
Right.
Happy Birthday Jesus, the man that
But we don't know his actual birthday, but we're going to say that it's
you would
this
think that
date
it would
and
be
then
like not that like I don't know.
confusing.
I haven't read the Bible, I'm sorry, but like are there specific dates in the Bible like March 31st of this
I don't
year
think so. No,
Moses fucking built the ark. Like there's not really specific dates. It's
I
more
don't know
like
this.
times of
I don't think
year
so.
that I feel like we would be given. So
Well, and two, like when we talk about the Bible too, and I don't know, but like this, like you got and that, like that was like the great academics like
yeah.
would have transcribed. It's not like everyday people would have understood that, right? Like, did they even have dates? And then I don't know.
I'm
It's so hard to
I've
say.
scared away the Jehovah's from my house and they don't like talking to me. They'll talk to Nick every now and then because he's nicer than me. But I told the woman the one like she's like, "Why don't you believe?" I said, "Because it's a book. How many times has it been rewritten?" Like, my apologies, but
Mm,
like you cannot there's nothing you could say that would convince me that hasn't been rewritten multiple times to benefit whoever the hell wants to rewrite it, right? Like it's the Bible. It's not we don't all have like a stone rock copy in our house, you know what I mean?
no,
Like
yeah. And there's
and
different
like
versions of it too, isn't there? Like different
this
points
is
of
going to
it.
piss some people off and I apologize, but it is my opinion and we're all entitled to our own. Religions like to take over things pretty hard and like they like taking over
Yeah.
a holiday such as
Rewrite
Christmas,
stuff.
especially if you think about it, Christmas is arguably the biggest holiday of ours because it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
gift
100%.
giving, thanks for family, big meals, like it is the consumerism king of holidays next to like Valentine's Day, Halloween, and a few others, but like Thanksgiving and Christmas are very food centric, Christmas being a big one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't
This
surprise me
is
that they've latched on to one of the biggest ones
Yep.
for convenience or just because it was just like coincidence that it just happened to be Christmas. Like that's totally fair too. But like I feel like that one and Easter are the two that I would be most interested to learn more about because all we've ever been told is Jesus's birthday and then Jesus rose from the fucking came out from
Resurrection.
his
Yeah.
rock and fucking woo, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
Like Easter to me is in spring, so I guarantee you that one would have very interesting pagan too because it's spring, it's the
Mm-hmm.
new life, new that's when everything starts growing, that's when all first signs of life come out, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
we're definitely gonna have to look into the
This
other
is
ones
super
I hope one
interesting.
day because those would be the ones I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And just to like completely shit all over fucking Valentine's Day because as much as I like to benefit on Valentine's Day and get like loved on by my honey, that holiday is a hawk of shit in my opinion. Like it's a
Yes.
spoil your
I'll still
person,
take the love,
make
but
sure
yeah.
you show you love them, which is very nice and fine and dandy, but like
Yes.
I'm gonna be the
It's
idiot that
also
says
over
that should be like a year
commercialized.
round thing, and it's very consumer based.
Yeah.
Like, make everyone feel bad
Yes.
because they don't have a partner, or feel bad because they're not getting the fucking largest bouquet and chocolates and all the fucking gifts and like loved. Like, I just, it's a very competitive holiday, and I don't, it's not my favorite. I love it,
Fair.
but it's not my favorite.
Yes. I would say like too with all of this, it's again what everyone it's now 2023.
It's
Everyone
what you
gets to
make of it.
decide what they want to do for it. Like, yeah, like at this point, like so much money's being spent. So many people celebrate stuff in different ways. It's obviously gone so much
Yeah.
further than where it started. And so it's like if for me, it's like I've had to really reflect for this Christmas and being like, it's hard to break out of that traditionally spending
And
on
you
money. And
want
we've
to,
had
but
Christmases where we didn't buy anything for each other. Like, and you guys get to decide, and everyone gets to decide. And I think that's the thing that's the most important is like, if you're in a financial place and that makes you happy to do these things, I don't think it's a bad thing in moderation. Like, I think I've not had bad, even my worst Christmas, I've never had like a bad Christmas because it's always something that I've gone into mentally with the happiness
it
of it,
just
right? Like
innately
I
brings
like
joy,
things that are
Christmas. I feel
joyful.
like even if I didn't get
Yeah.
presents,
And
you can't be like, I mean, you can be sad at Christmas, don't get me wrong, but like I feel
yes.
like I
Oh
go
yeah. I
into
was
it like
alone
I
in the
get to see
time.
all my family. I get to spend time with
Yeah.
my family and sometimes friends depending like what your traditions are. Like I don't know, that
Yeah.
alone, I'm fine. Like that's all. Like we get to play
Yeah.
charades and all the stupid like games that we get from hall, like those handheld ones where like you have to like guess things. Like
Yeah.
that to me is what I look forward to, and my like all of our traditional like food that my grandma makes and like food that we get like when we go to
Yeah.
Quebec and see next family. Like that's what I like. But that's
Yeah.
like you said, to each their own. And like there's
Yeah.
been years where yeah, like some people are financially more and able to completely dote on family whereas some aren't, and I feel like that's
Mhm.
where like the competitiveness and the sadness comes in of just like for kids you feel like you're not good enough because you only got so many presents when you go back to school and your friends got all sorts of good shit, and like the whole controversy of like like giving presents from Santa is the new one that I have to
Mhm.
fucking deal with because I have a daughter, of like you have to give them like the basic gifts from Santa because if you give your daughter like a fucking Barbie dream house from Santa, but some kid at school only got socks and underwear from Santa because that's all their parents like could afford. Like it's just
Mhm.
there's so many things tacked on to Christmas. I feel like it's such a different holiday. Christmas is a big one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, yeah, I mean, I was a poor kid. I had to go through that.
So
It's
was I.
like,
My mom went to Santa's Anonymous a few
right?
years for me when I was young.
Like, yeah, I got spoiled at Christmas. I'm not saying I didn't, but we are definitely a poor family that I didn't get the iPhones and the
I
computers and all
love
that
getting
kind of the
walnuts in
things. And
my stockings and oranges.
I got oranges. Yeah, oranges were my favorite. Oranges and the chocolates and the thing.
Yes.
But I think at the end of the day, like we're so far from what any of these things ever mean that I think it's important for everyone to kind of just develop what
Hmm.
that means for them, that time. If it's family time, great. If it's spoiling your family, like for me, my family didn't have a lot. So at Christmas time, that's when my mom would spend the money. Like she wouldn't spend it all
You
year
save it
round,
for
but
Christmas.
Christmas, we got save it for Christmas, right? And if that means just spending time with people, traditionally doing stuff, doing nothing, like I think at this day and age, and we've come through this a few times on the show, it's like society might be a certain way and the world might be a certain way and popular in
Hmm.
certain ways, but you don't have to subscribe to any of those things, or you can subscribe to all of
Yeah.
them. And no matter what, there's going to be someone judging you for doing too
Or
much
too
or too
little,
little
or
or
doing
not
something
enough or the
different.
way you're
Yeah.
doing it or doing something different. So
Whatever
it's like at
pleases
the end of the
you at the
day,
end
if
of the
you
day.
and your families, yeah, whatever you want to do, if you don't want to hand out candy, Alan, don't. You don't want to dress up your kids because you think that's the devil holiday,
Mhm.
don't. You want
But
to
leave
do
everyone
it.
else alone,
Like,
you know?
yeah, just and like be fine with it and then be okay with other people doing stuff differently and like, and I think that's, if you want to not spend any money this Christmas, don't. If you don't want to celebrate it, don't. If you think it's Jesus's birthday, then continue celebrating
Happy birthday,
Jesus's birthday. If you think
Jesus.
it's a pagan holiday, then yeah, like if you think it's whatever, like if you think Rudolph is real, then think him's real. Like, I don't know. I just feel like with holidays and stuff like this, like we could get real serious
Hmm.
about it, or we can not be so serious about it,
Lighthearted is way
right?
better, in
Like,
my
why
opinion.
do we have to have battles where people are making videos on videos battling
Yeah.
back and forth about if this is Christian or pagan? Like, at the end of the day, does it matter? Can you
Just be
just
happy.
like
Go spend time with your
do
family.
what you want to
Stop
do and let
arguing.
other people,
Yeah.
like if someone wants to say it's pagan, can't they just think that? And if you want to think it's Christian, you could just think it's Christian.
It
Like, do
ain't
we have
hurting
to
you.
like fight for the
Have your own
battle? Like,
opinion.
let's just let it go and have fun. Yeah, I'm Buddy the fucking Elf. I love it. At the same time, I love
Yeah.
Halloween. Do I think that there's dark spirits and bad things? Yes. Do I think that they entered my soul that day? No. That's just my
Yeah.
opinion. I know there's people that do, and that's okay. That's great. I'm not there yet. But I think at the end of the day, you do whatever you want. If you want to wear stupid Christmas stuff,
Oh yeah.
if you want to light yourself up once in a while, do it. honor the veterans, ask questions about war, but learn stuff.
Nice.
It's fun. Anyways, I think that's pretty good. Pretty good. Holidays winter
Somehow we
edition.
still
We'll do a
managed to
holiday
talk for an hour and
edition.
15 minutes.
And I said, even if we get 40 minutes, we'll be good. And here we are, double
Brandy
the
and I
amount of
just
time
cannot.
as per
I don't think
usual.
we have it in us to do a 30 to 40-minute episode. Like, we'd have to be
No,
dead
and then-
tired or stoned out of our minds.
Yeah, and I'm pretty tired. I yawned a few times. Sorry, team. It's just finishing month end. Yesterday we finished, and I feel like that big weight of like month end's over. But then it's like now I got to catch up from the week that I was just
And
frozen
I'm an
in month
hour
end, and then I
later
have a
than you
week
too,
left.
so it's a whole new. I'm
Yes,
trying
I
not to
know.
yawn. I'm actually doing pretty good, but once I get upstairs to my bed, I'm gonna be out. I can guarantee
Done.
it.
Well, we hope that you guys like this episode. Speaking of winter holidays, lighten the topics up a little bit. I think this one isn't as dark as the last episode.
No.
So not the last episode, the one before that we had. But when this launches, we're going to be very close to this time of year. So again, guys, do things that you want. Don't be stressed out about being a Pinterest mom. Just make sure that you're happy and you're spending
Have
time
fun.
with those that you love. Yeah, have fun. And until next time, bye. Thank you guys for stopping by the show today. We appreciate you so much. If you like this episode and you want to hear more, make sure to show us some love on our Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest page, the Be Real Babe Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube and Rumble channels, like those episodes, and turn on the notification bells. You can find our video version of the show on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify, or you can catch the audio version on Apple and Google Podcast. But stay tuned for more realness coming to you soon. Until next time, babes.